Icelandic. What does it look like? What does it sound like? And how does it work? This is a page of Icelandic text. I've enlarged a page from a book this time rather than show you the book. I've done that in the hopes that this will make for a somewhat clearer video. And I would like to begin, as always, with the presumption that you don't know that this is Icelandic and helping you find any characteristic distinctive features on the page that would help you determine that it is Icelandic. This is the 5th video in a series. We've seen German and Dutch and Afrikaans and Frisian, and armed with that knowledge and that experience, I think that by looking at this page you should certainly know that it's a Germanic language, and you should also know that it's none of those. And indeed, with those are the 4 main West Germanic languages. We leave the West Germanic branch and we pick up the North Germanic branch. Icelandic is the best place to start for many reasons. The first one being that there are on this page 2 characters, 2 consonants. This is one, and this is another, and here you see it again, and here you see both of them together in the same word. 2 characters that are only used in Icelandic today. They're used very commonly on any Icelandic page, so you can find lots of them, and they're not used elsewhere. Both of these letters represent the sound TH combination. Obviously here it's an initial sound, and here it's the medial sound and the final sound, this looking like a P, where the little circular part has slipped down, and this looking like a D, where the tail has been flipped back and a crosshatch has come through it. Anglo-Saxon Old English used to use this, and modern English could profit from it because the TH is a common sound, but if you see a page that has these on it, you know you're looking at Icelandic. So what does Icelandic sound like? Well, unfortunately I can only give you a rough interpretation, my interpretation of that, and it's quite rough indeed, but I need to do that in order to explain how the sounds, how the words are strung together and what they mean. So you can use this just as the roughest of guides at this, the features that I try to highlight in the sounds. This is sort of what Icelandic sounds like. I eldingu íslenskra sögu, þar sem fyrstu norrænu einstaklingarnir koma fram úr myrkri fornaldarinnar, sjáum við við loft mann sem höfðihærri og miklu skýrari en aðrir svipur þeirra tíma. In Eldingu, the older the first, Íslenskrar, Icelandic, sögu, sagas, þar, there, where, sem, where, fyrstu, the first, norrænu, Nordic, northern, einstaklingarnir, individuals, personalities, koma, come, from, forth, úr, out of, myrkri, the dark, fornaldarinnar, old ages, so out of antiquity, sjáum, we see, vér, we, bera, be carried, with, into, up, loft, the air, man, a man, sem, who, is, höfði, heads, hæri, higher, og, and, miklu, much, skýrari, clearer, more perceptible, in, than, aðrir, other, svipur, personalities or figures or characters, þeirra, of that, tíma, time. So in the old Icelandic sagas, where we see the first Nordic individuals come out of the murky antiquity, we see, carried high in the air, a man who is heads higher and much clearer than the other figures of that time. Það Egill Skallagrímsson, hann fyrsti Íslendingur sem áreiðanlegar heimildir eru that, it, is, Egill, Egil, this interesting catch on the double L's, Skallagrímsson, the son of Skallagrim, hann, he, is, fyrsti, the first, Íslendingur, Icelander, sem, who, áreiðanlegar, reliable, trustable, heimildir, sources, eru, are, around. So he's the first, this is Egil Skallagrimsson, and he is the first Icelander about whom we have reliable information, about whom there are reliable sources. Fyrir því hefur hann séð með því að sjálfan sig og svo merkilega að hvorki gleymdist né verður neinum seinni tíma manni treyst til að hafa gert honum upp slík orð. For því, that, so for that, because, hefur, has, hann, he, séð, seen, með, with, því, thus, að, to, yrkja, to compose, to write poetry, about, sjálfan, himself, sig, him himself, og, and, yrkja, to compose, svo, so, merkilega, marvelously, wonderfully, að, that, hvorki, neither, gleymdist, he is forgotten, né, nor, verður, is it happen, come to pass, neinum, to any, seinni, later, tíma, time, manni, man, treyst, believed or entrusted, til, to, að, at that, hafa, have, gert, done, honum, to him, up, slík, such, orð, words. So for that, because we have reliable information because he saw to it to compose poetry about himself and to compose so wonderfully well that he can neither be forgotten nor can it be supposed that any man from later times would have invented such words about him. Time is running out, so I'm going to put a book of Icelandic paradigms and leaf through that while I talk about the language a little bit, and it'll become clear why as I do that. Icelandic is a language that only has about 250,000 native speakers, and so obviously there are no practical utilitarian reasons for learning this language, but still I would say probably hazard a guess that there are easily 1 million people alive who have tried to learn this language. And why is that? It's because from a pure linguistic point of view, and certainly the point of view of Germanic linguistics and cultural historical point of view, numbers notwithstanding, this is one of the most important languages out there. It's important because it's extremely archaic. That's why I'm showing you the grammar. It hasn't changed hardly at all since we get the first writings in it in the 9th, 10th centuries. And it's a highly inflecting language and highly irregular. That's why we need all these paradigms. And it shows us what early Germanic languages were like. And it is, in that sense, it's also the purest Germanic language. It hasn't taken any loan words. And these are other reasons why it is, well, we can say difficult or challenging to learn. But it's also extremely rewarding to do that, because if you learn this language, you are also learning Old Norse or Old Icelandic, which is the classical cultural language of the Vikings of that time. And we can see the sagas of people like Egil Skallagrim. And I will make a separate video of that Old Norse language, and we can compare them. So just know that this is certainly a language that is eminently worthy of exploration, and it's something that we're going to keep in mind and remember as a point of comparison for the other Scandinavian North Germanic languages in the next series of videos.